Part of filmmaking is your post-production, because the post-production entails your lighting coordinations, your editing, your sound, your special effects, music, etc., etc. I looked at all of the years of all the studios I was using worldwide, including Canada and in Italy. I worked at Cinecittà with Sergio and his family for many years, and being over at Warner Brothers for over 15, 16 years at Warner Brothers. I had the opportunity to be able to see what elements are involved in the post-production, and that was the core and the nucleus. So what I decided to do is put together a small little boutique type of a studio, which is a private studio where I get to do whatever films that we're working on.
Right.
If I have a dear friend who's a director that wants to, and there are many that have already been there, that want to take 5 weeks or 6 weeks or 3 months and just, sit on the beach, in Staten Island and get away from it all and be 20 minutes away from them. It's the city. It works great.
A lot has been written about this. Tell us the origin.
Well, right before World War II, my grandfather built a theater in a little town in Italy, in southern Italy. Right after the war, and I was blown up during the war, but after the war they rebuilt it. And up until 1955, the cinema was basically a cinema in Reggio Calabria for the village people.
This was this is a real projector.
This is the real projector that was there, and after they closed the theater and my grandparents passed away, it was in my cousin's garage in Italy. So my mother was visiting them, so she said, listen, Jules is opening up a studio in New York, you got to send it to him, I want to put it in the front. And it's just basically a prop, but it's an original camera.
Sentimental value to this?
Yeah, when I was a little boy, I used to go into the theater, because I was, a small little boy at the time before coming to the States. So it brings back memories.
Stay right where you are. We'll be back with much more in Profiles with Jules Nasso after these important announcements. Now back to Mickey Burns with Hollywood film producer Jules Nasso.
I did want to mention that one of your closest friends is actor, and I'm going to add singer, Danny Aiello, for many years. And recently you produced his new music video, for his first single off his new album called Building Bridges. Tell us about the project.
Danny is amazing. I mean, I had the privilege of meeting him for the first time with the whole group on Once Upon a Time in America.
Right, yes.
And since then, him and I have been, he's like my older brother that I never had, And he guided me over for many, many years. There was a time when he was filming Ruby in Los Angeles, and he had a friend of his, Gary Busey, there that came to see him, and he had called me. He says, Jules, I know you're shooting Under Siege 2 over at the studios. Come down for lunch. I want you to come and see me. I went down there, and he introduced me to Gary. He says, look at Gary. Oh, Gary, how are you? So on and so forth. He says, he just came out of the hospital. We got anything going for him? I says, Gary, come and see me. And we put him in Under Siege.
And he was great.
Yeah, he was great. Man, was he great.
Now, I read somewhere that for the past 20 years that you've been a Zen master.
Well, let's go back, because I want to make sure that I don't offend the real Zen masters. I don't want to in any way make myself at that level. But I studied from many Zen masters, including reading up on books and cultures and things of that nature. Now, we call it Zen. A lot of people call it presence. A lot of people call it culture. Colors and coordinations and creating different atmospheres. If you go to any Zen monasteries, what makes the tranquil and the appearance of that is certain types of birds, certain types of trees, certain types of colors, certain type of relaxations. You see, elements that are used to create an atmosphere. It's just creating an atmosphere.
I have to ask you this. I know you're always looking ahead to your next big blockbuster hit. and I'm sure our viewers want to know, will the real-life saga of the Jules Nasso, Steven Seagal situation ever make it to the silver screen?
You know, Mickey, it's a story that someday needs to be told. You know,
I would
studying
say.
Zen, one of the things also about Zen is that there's no such thing in our, and including Stephen, you know, we don't hold grudges.
Right.
You know, it's part of life.
Because that'll kill you.
It will kill you, you know. And what we do is we reverse any type of negative energy. We also understand at a certain given point, we cleanse ourselves and realize, did we screw up? Mm-hmm. You know, whether it's a divorce case or whatever. So there are many times that I miss him very much.
Yeah, yeah.
And he does also.
Right.
You know, I wish him all love and happiness.
Yeah.
I'm always there for him, as he's there for me.
Yep. We have a lot of producers in New York City, a lot of would-be filmmakers. What is the best piece of advice that you could pass on to some of them?
Well, as a filmmaker, again, I've also been fortunate to teach. I've been lecturing at many, many colleges across the country and around the world. And it's very hard to say, okay, now, where can I do my next path?
That's a good point.
So the thing is not to give up, you know.
Persistence.
Persistence, not to give up.
Yeah.
Don't allow the rejection to make you change your path.
That's great advice. What do you hope that Jules Nasso's legacy will be?
Just to continue making good films to entertain the world. And what my concerns are, what I'm looking for now, basically, in filmmaking, is to get films that could get some sort of recognition outside of the commercial aspects of it. Once you take a viewer in a theater for a joyride, it's one thing. It's very simple. Blow it up, the volume, you scare them, the adrenaline goes. But it's something else to get them to laugh, cry, and touch their soul all at the same time. When they leave that theater, say, oh, you know what? I got to go back and see it.
And they'll never forget it.
And they won't.
I just want to wish you best of luck. Thank you for stopping by today, first of all. And best of luck with Cinema Nasso Studios.
Thank you, Mick.
Great facility. I wish you a lot of luck with that. And best of luck with the Staten Island NY Film Festival, because I know you're doing a great job in putting Staten Island on the map.
Thank you, and I hope that I be able to continue doing it and years to come to enhance it and give the opportunity to young filmmakers to get out in that world and do what they have to do.
Thanks for stopping by today.
Mickey, thank you. It's a pleasure.
My pleasure.
But more important, what I learned is you have to know how to delegate. You can't do everything yourself, because there's only so much we could do in a day before the day turns into night.
Yes.
So the first thing that someone has to accept is it can't be just me. You have to get the professionals. If it's a director, you allow the director to bring to the table. The writer brings what he brings to the table. But as a general contractor, an executive producer, you put all the elements together, and the fun part is to get all the creative people mixed in together and see what develops from that.
Today, at 55 years old, Jules Nasso continues to be a major player among Hollywood film producers. Additionally, tired of the bicoastal travel, he is putting the finishing touches on Cinema Nasso Studios, located on Staten Island. According to Nasso, his aim is to bring it all home. Well, that's about all the time we have left on this edition of Profiles. Until next time, I'm Jeanette Eng, and thanks for tuning in.